There is a woman in Tokyo who leaves her office at exactly 5:32 every single day. Not 6:15, not 7 o'clock, after just finishing one more thing. 5:32 every day, like clockwork. She has the same job title as the people around her, the same inbox, the same 2 kids waiting for her at home. She is not faster at typing. She did not hire an assistant. Nobody on her floor would tell you she works less than they do. And yet, somewhere else right now, someone exactly like you is standing in front of an open refrigerator at 6 in the evening, too tired to decide what to make for dinner. Someone is digging through a kitchen drawer for the one charger that's never where it should be. Someone is sitting in a meeting that didn't need to happen, watching the clock, quietly doing the math on how much of their actual life this hour is costing them. What if the gap between these two people has nothing to do with intelligence or income or how early they set an alarm? What if it comes down to 10 small Japanese habits, so quietly built into daily life that the people practicing them couldn't even explain why they work? Here's the strange part. The woman in Tokyo probably wouldn't describe herself as productive. She would probably tell you she's just normal. Which raises a much more interesting question. What if the people who seem to have the most time aren't managing time at all? And before you assume this is going to be 10 vague pieces of advice about trying harder, it isn't. Every one of the 10 things you're about to see takes under 2 minutes to start, costs nothing, and needs zero willpower you don't already have tonight. By the end of this video, you'll know all 10. And by the time we reach number 6, you'll understand why one single Japanese workplace habit can erase an entire hour of wasted meetings every week without anyone having to say a word in the room. Stay until number 10, because it's the one almost nobody in the West has heard of, and it's the one that decides whether any of the other 9 actually last. Let's begin. Habit number 1, the entryway reset. In most American homes, walking through the front door means dropping your bag wherever your arms give up, kicking off your shoes mid-stride, and tossing your keys onto whichever surface is closest. It feels harmless in the moment. It is not harmless tomorrow morning when you're already late and circling the apartment looking for those exact keys. In Japan, the entry is called the Genkan, and it carries one unbreakable rule. Nothing crosses that threshold without a home. Shoes go on the rack, keys go on the hook, bag goes on the same chair, every time, no exceptions. The shift? Pick 3 things you lose most mornings and give each one a fixed spot by your front door tonight. The next time you walk out the door without spending 5 frantic minutes patting down your pockets for your keys, you'll understand why this tiny ritual survives generation after generation. Time recovered. Most people spend close to 20 minutes a week just searching for things they set down without thinking. The woman in Tokyo, by the way, she doesn't do anything special at her front door. She just never lets it become a decision. That's the part we're about to see again and again. That's habit 1. Habit number 2 is even smaller, and it's quietly responsible for almost every redo, every typo, every wait, what was I doing moment in your entire week. Habit number 2, Ichigo Ichie, doing one thing at a time, completely. The phrase translates roughly to one time, one meeting. The idea that this exact moment will never happen again, so it deserves your whole mind, not 40% of it. Western multitasking trains us to answer a message while cooking, while half listening to a podcast, and we call this efficient. It is the opposite. Every time your attention splits, your brain pays a tax just to switch back, and that tax shows up as mistakes you then have to go back and fix. The shift. Pick one task right now and give it your full attention for as long as it takes. Phone face down, one tab open. Time recovered. Research on task switching consistently shows people lose 15 to 20 minutes a day to the cost of bouncing between tasks, almost 2 hours a week, just from refusing to finish one thing before starting the next. And it's not just the minutes, it's the quiet relief of finishing something completely, instead of leaving 5 things 90% done. That's habit 2. Habit number 3 lives in your kitchen, and it's the reason some people never once ask themselves what's for dinner on a Tuesday. Habit number 3, Sukurioki, the Sunday habit of cooking once for the whole week. Think about yesterday evening. You opened the refrigerator, nothing looked right. You closed it, opened it again. Somehow, you expected the answer to appear this time. It wasn't really about dinner, it was decision fatigue. Japanese home cooks build the opposite habit, one focused session on the weekend. Simmered dishes and rice and prepped vegetables portioned into containers, so weeknights become reheating, not cooking. The shift: pick 2 dishes this weekend that hold up well for 4 days and make a double batch. Time recovered: 30 minutes of decision-making and active cooking, recovered 5 nights a week, 2.5 hours back before the week even starts. More than that, 5 fewer evenings spent standing in front of an open fridge, waiting for an answer that was never going to appear on its own. That's 3. Habit number 4 is the one that makes habit 3 actually possible, because it solves a much bigger problem hiding in plain sight. Habit number 4, the 5S system: Seiri, Seiton, Seiso, Seiketsu, Shitsuke. It was built inside Japanese factories decades ago for one reason: a worker who has to search for a tool is a worker who isn't working. Your brain runs on the exact same wiring. Every time you open a drawer that doesn't have an answer, where's the tape? Where's the charger? It holds a small loop of working memory open just to keep searching, and that loop doesn't close until you find the thing. You felt this. Standing over a junk drawer at 11 p.m. hunting for one battery, somehow furious about it. The shift: pick one drawer or shelf tonight and give everything in it a permanent home, one item, one spot, every time. Time recovered. Studies on workplace efficiency tied to this exact system report 15 minutes a day saved from eliminated searching. Over an hour and a half a week from a habit most people have never even heard the name of. And a brain that finally gets to stop running that loop all day, every day. That's 4. Habit number 5 moves from your kitchen drawer to your wallet, and it quietly ends one of the most exhausting loops most adults run every single day. Habit number 5, Kakeibo. A small handwritten ledger where every yen in and out gets one line, once a day, no exceptions. Most people make financial decisions constantly and quietly all day. Can I get this? Should I check my balance? Was that a mistake? And every one of those micro decisions costs a little focus. Kakeibo collapses all of it into one short daily entry, so the rest of the day is free of that background noise. Each unresolved money question is, to your brain, an open tab it can't fully close, a low hum that runs until you finally write the number down. The shift. Tonight, write down everything you spent today in under 2 minutes. Tomorrow, do it again. Time recovered. Roughly 20 minutes a day of financial second-guessing, gone, well over 2 hours back across a week. Not just the time, the quiet that comes from a question your brain finally stops asking. That's 5. We're halfway through. And before we get to the meeting habit I promised you, here's something most people miss completely. These 10 habits don't just save isolated minutes. Stacked together, they cross a line most people never expect. By the time we reach the end of this list, you'll have gotten back more free time than a full extra workday. We'll do that math together at the end, so keep count. The meeting habit is coming right now. Habit number 6, Nemawashi, the practice of quietly aligning everyone before a meeting ever happens. In Japanese business culture, a meeting exists to confirm a decision, not to make one. The actual thinking, the disagreements, the back and forth, all of that happens beforehand, one-on-one, informally, so the meeting itself becomes 10 minutes of confirmation instead of an hour of circling. You know the meeting on the other end of this, the one where 3 people clearly disagreed before they even sat down, and you spent 40 minutes watching it happen out loud in real time, instead of in a 2-line message the night before. Nobody remembers what was decided. Everyone remembers how long it felt. The shift. Before your next meeting, send a 2-line message to the key people with your actual proposal. Let the disagreement happen in a thread, not a room. Time recovered. Cutting one weekly meeting from 60 minutes to 20 gives you back a full hour every single week for the rest of your working life. That's 6, and it's exactly the one I told you to wait for. Habit number 7 turns the page from work into the rest of your home, and it never really stops working once you start it. Habit number 7, Danshari, the ongoing habit of refusing, discarding, and separating. Not a weekend purge, but a quiet daily filter applied to everything that enters your space. You don't notice clutter all at once. You notice it one tiny hesitation at a time. Which shirt? Which shelf? Where did I put that? Each pause feels too small to matter on its own, right up until you add them up across a week. The shift, for 1 month, every time something new comes in, one old thing goes out the same week. Time recovered, roughly 10 minutes a day spent digging through excess, gone, over an hour a week just from never letting maybe later pile up. That's 7. Habit number 8 is smaller than all of these, fits in your hand, and quietly removes an entire category of errands you didn't realize you were running. Habit number 8, the Furoshiki mindset. One good object used for many purposes instead of a drawer full of single-use ones. Walk through your home for 1 minute. Count how many objects exist for exactly one purpose. The gift bag from a birthday 3 years ago. A cable organizer you bought and now can't find. The tote from a conference you don't remember attending. A gadget you forgot you owned. Every one of them asks your brain for a tiny decision it didn't need to make. The traditional Furoshiki cloth solves this differently. It wraps a gift, a lunch, a bottle, or a bag, then folds flat and gets used again tomorrow. Japanese design often asks a different question than Western design does. Not, what's the right tool for this? But, how many problems can one object solve? The shift. Before buying another single-purpose item this week, ask whether something you already own could do the job twice. Time recovered. A modest 15 minutes a week. Small on paper, but it's one less decision standing between you and the rest of your evening. That's 8. Habit number 9 doesn't save you time today. It saves you from losing the same hour again next week, which is a different kind of recovery entirely. Habit number 9, Hansei. 2 quiet minutes at the end of the day spent asking what worked and what didn't without judgment. Most people think improvement comes from trying harder. It usually comes from noticing sooner. Most people who lose an hour to the same mistake, the meeting that ran long, the task left until the last minute, lose that same hour again the following week because nothing was ever named out loud. Hansei interrupts that loop simply by noticing it in one sentence before the day closes. The shift. Tonight, before bed, ask yourself one question. Where did today cost me time I didn't plan to spend? Write one sentence. Time recovered. This one compounds. Conservatively, 30 minutes a week, just from not repeating last week's avoidable mistake. That's 9. And now, the final habit, the one I promised, was the biggest recovery on this entire list, and the reason every other habit here actually sticks. Habit number 10, Kaizen, improvement through steps so small they feel almost embarrassing. And here's the part I promised you back at the start. This really is the biggest time recovery on the entire list, just not in the shape you're expecting. Most people try to install all 9 habits above at once, starting Monday, and burn out by Thursday. And the moment that happens, every single hour you just calculated goes straight back to 0. Kaizen is the multiplier that decides whether any of this sticks or quietly disappears within 2 weeks, the way every January resolution always has. The shift: pick exactly 1 habit from this list, not 3. 1, run it until it's automatic. Then, and only then, add the next. So here's the full picture in one breath. The Entryway gives you back 20 minutes. Single tasking gives you back nearly 2 hours. Cooking once a week gives you back 2.5. A system for where things live gives you back 90 minutes. A 2-minute money habit gives you back 2 hours. Aligning before meetings gives you back a full hour. An ongoing filter on your space gives you back another hour. Reusable objects over single-use ones give you back 15 minutes. 2 minutes of reflection saves you from losing that hour again. And Kaizen is what makes sure you actually keep any of it. Add it up, and that's more than 13 hours given back to you every single week. So here's the answer to the question we started with. It was never intelligence. It was never income. It was never how early she set her alarm. It was 10 decisions she stopped having to make every single day for years until they ran on autopilot. 13 hours a week isn't a productivity statistic. It's a full extra day of your one life, handed back to you every week for as long as you keep any one of these running. Tomorrow morning, you'll walk out your front door exactly the way you always have. The real question is what's waiting for you on the other side. The same 10 small decisions made over again from scratch, or 9 of them already closed just from starting one tonight. The woman in Tokyo who leaves at 5:32 has never once called any of this a system. To her, it's simply what a normal day feels like. Pick 1 habit from this list, just one, and start it before you go to sleep. If this gave you back even 1 hour of your week, share it with someone who's been doing everything right and still can't figure out where all their time keeps disappearing to. They might be 1 small habit away from finding out. I'll see you in the next one.